Gear up for the hunt and learn from the best with Deer and Deer Hunting Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern on Waypoint TV. Tune in every week for expert hunting tips and unforgettable moments in the field. Waypoint TV, your destination for outdoor entertainment.
Friends of NRA is your chance to support our Second Amendment rights and preserve America's hunting traditions. Join Friends of NRA at one of our 600 exciting events nationwide. From games to auctions and exclusive firearms, Friends of NRA events are your chance to support a cause you care about while having a great time with patriots in your community. Whether you're a seasoned shooter, an avid hunter or outdoorsman, or passionate about freedom, there's a place for you within Friends of NRA. Visit friendsofnra.org to find an event near you. Stand up for freedom with the Friends of NRA.
Just be sitting up there jacked with Pepsi.
I'm there for the pack out. You just got to pack me in.
Committed to the bow early on. Like, I love getting close and putting up.
You cover a range of stuff on here too, right? Like,
We call this the THP World Headquarters.
You know, my grandpa Roy Weatherby.
I came into like that golden little pocket where there was like 4 or 5 different bulls. Just
You're Canadian? We're doing a Canadian podcast?
my name's Douglas Bode.
I'm Robbie Denning.
Roy Candy.
I'm over it. You know what I mean?
know.
It's just one thing after another. It's just, that's how those hunts are. It's good. Got her done.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been there before too, man. Like, where you just like, you feel helpless. It's like, what the fuck am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
You know, just the
Especially
two of us
it's-
here tonight.
Oh,
No
yeah.
Pete, and I know Pete's going through that right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and
just even our group chat today, he's like, you know, you could feel the pressure he's putting on himself, and it's like, dude, like,
that gets in your head too.
oh, it does, yeah, 100%. And it's not good, man. Like, you start putting pressure on yourself, and then that's when like you make mistakes and like shit happens. Not that, you know, Pete's a very diligent guy and hunter. Like, I don't think he definitely wouldn't force anything, but I mean, you know, it just that extra pressure you make, you know, you pressure when you shouldn't, you stay
Yeah.
back when you should like all those
Stop.
little things.
Yeah, like you stop listening to those little instincts that you
Yeah.
normally when you're calm. And like, I know you're probably exactly the same way as me. Every time, whether it's a huge animal or just like any situation, the times that you were like, you smoked them, you came in clutch, is when you're like completely calm.
100%.
You're just thinking about what's in front of you.
Yeah. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's just it. It's like, there's no pressure. You're just calm. You're in the zone. And, you know, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's really hard not to put pressure on yourself when you know, like, when you know you're,
It builds, doesn't it? It's
Yeah,
like
it does. It's-
builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and you take for granted. It's too easy to take for granted that shit works. And you're like, oh yeah, a day or two, and then you get to day 4, you're like, oh, day
yeah.
5, day 6.
Well, and compounding things through, you know, September rolls, first rolls around you, and you have expectations, and then, you know, like life gets in the way, and you have opportunities that go sideways, and things don't work out the way you have visioned in your head, and like these things and like things you've done in the past always seem to play a role, I find too, where it's like, you know, you kind of feel that pressure to kill an elk every year.
Yeah.
You put it on yourself. I mean, obviously, you know, other people probably have expectations of you, but I mean, you try not to think about that, but like you put these expectations on yourself where it's like, man, I got to kill an elk. Like you know, what kind of hunter am I if I don't do it?
Yeah.
So
especially
it's
if you've done it in the past too, right? Because you know you can. Then you're always trying to narrow that gap of like, well, did I run enough? Am I out of shape? Did I shoot enough? Like all these things, like and then when that opportunity comes up, then it's just like a tidal wave because it's like 20, you know, if it was hard, it's all going to come down to crunch time. It's probably going to be 20, 30, 40 minutes, maybe a couple seconds in a shot.
Mhm.
It really is the make or break of it. It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that comes down to just like, I find that comes down to like what we do year round, where it's like you put in the reps, like there isn't a really no off season. You know what I mean? Like we talk about it
Yeah.
on the show all the time. And like when is like last February, we were talking about putting in the reps with your bow, getting in
Yeah.
shape then, right? So it's not an issue. Like all those things, I feel like you're confident in your shot, you're confident in your conditioning. It just comes down to like, I just need one fucking opportunity.
Yeah.
Like you can only control so much too,
Yeah.
right? When you're out there, like you can only control, you can't control everything. I mean, you can do your best to anticipate where the animals are going to be. You can do your best to, you know, anticipate weather. But at the end of the day, if the animals aren't there, they're not there. And like it was like, fuck, man. Like I know you went through it all September and like you ground
yeah.
that month out hard and you got
Yeah.
it done.
That's what it takes.
And like there was just like it's just like no like just unresponsive elk, it felt like.
Yeah. Slow rut. Very cold rut. I don't think it really got into any roar fest or meatballs or even the big herds just acting like it's summer. Even like bachelor balls, it's all ambush. And that's the thing though. That's you gotta adapt. It's like, you know, that's out it's not outside my wheelhouse, but it's like most of the success has been really like aggressive calling. It's like, man, that's what it takes. So you have to change. We keep talking
Yeah.
about that. That's the trend, right? Every time we talk about elk hunting, you have to have
It's a
all these stacking. You can't be
yeah.
one dimensional, right?
No, it's adapt or die.
Yeah,
Like, you have to. Like, and like what's worked for me in the past didn't work this year. Not even fucking close. Like I had totally adapt and like come up with a new strategy. And like you and I were talking, like whenever I get in cell service, you and I were chatting back and forth what was going on, but like no calling. And like
Yeah.
days and days of like just crawling through the bush, calling, looking for sign, moving around, like finally, you know, find a creek and water and like, is this the only water and source in the valley? Yeah, okay, it is. And like I'd walk 500 meters down the creek, and then I'd stop and do a off directional path, 400 yards that direction, do some calling, look for tracks, and then nothing, come right back to the exact same point, just so I didn't miss anything along the creek, right? Keep following that creek, and finally, you know, a few days later, I found in that little gully, and then that's when I was talking to you, I think that evening when I was sitting up on the ridge, and I was like, man, I think I found where what they're doing is they're like utilizing this gully.
Yeah.
The creek runs right through it. It's way easier walking, and then it leads right into an open meadow, and sure shit. And like I was texting you sitting up on the other side, you and I were texting back and forth, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and wait to see if they come out first light. And like your first answer, like, they'll be there right at dark.
Oh yeah.
And it sure as shit, man, like right at fucking dark, the elk start to walk out, and I'm like, well, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm going to be sitting right on that, like in the dark, coming in the opposite side, bright and early, 2-hour hike in, making sure I'm not like making any sound, like wind's good, doing the longest route possible to get in there, sitting in that gully, waiting for them to come in. And then they just that. And like it's funny because like you or I were even talking, like when I was like, yep, they came out right at dark, and you're like, they'll beeline it right in there. And that's what they did too. They just started like not quite single file. And like hindsight is like what I did was just that. I went up and sat up on the top of that gully.
Yeah.
And I just waited them to filter in. And then basically I was looking down at the creek where they had been coming every morning and getting a drink, and then going back into the thicker stuff to bed down during the day. Because it's still fairly hot for this time of the year.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that's all they did. And sure shit, like it did take a little longer than I anticipated. I thought they were going to be in there a little quicker than they are, but that could also be because the distance from the creek to the meadow might be a little off from what I was thinking it was. But either way, man, like they started coming in there, and it's just, you know, one after another, they just start filing in, you know, a couple getting a drink and then move on. And then all of a sudden you start seeing some horn showing up, and your blood starts getting pumped.
Oh,
And that
yeah.
bull I ended up shooting. It's funny, like he walked in with a couple cows, and I had him, I had him out about, man, like the first time I'm pretty sure I ranged him was about 60 yards, but he had some cows behind him, and then he kind of like moved up the side hill, and it was feeding in the opposite direction of the creek, and then he was at 90 all by himself, and I was like, fuck, and then he started working his way back like towards the creek.
Yep.
And then I was ranging as he's ranging. There's trees like 80, 81, 80, 78, 80. And I was like, and then he walked in, he got to the tree that I ranged was 81, and he stepped in front of it. And I was like, man, if he takes 6 more steps, he's going to get, because there was a couple trees in front of him. If
Oh,
he
yeah.
would have walked through those trees, I wouldn't have got a shot. So I took it. I was like, man, it's now or never. I had to take it 81
Yeah.
yards. And it was kind of back far, like I was telling you. But it's like it wasn't a pass through. It didn't even break the skin on the other side.
Yeah.
But it got both lungs. And like I sent you that video, and like he was puking up blood.
Oh,
big
yeah.
time. Like his
That's
both
major.
lungs filled right up with blood. Yeah.
Yeah. Major blood trail. That's,
Yeah. And I found him, and I was like, well, I was pretty excited. I was like, fuck me, man. Needed that to go down for sure. Cause it's just like you like we were just talking about, you get these, this river of doubt starts filtering through your head. You're like, fuck, man, I know there's elk here. And like, but like you said, it's like, you've done it in the past. Like, I know I'm capable of doing it. I just have to. It's just a matter of time till I figure out what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just got to be patient. You can't force it, right? That's when you make dumb decisions, right? Because like, if you force it and you try to push things that aren't there yet, that's when you blow elk up, right? And then you bust yourself, you blow them out of the area, and then now you're really fucked.
and you're not mentally sharp. You enter an area like it's. I always try and like think about like, okay, like remember mule deer hunting? Like
Mhm.
you make a single mistake, they're out of there.
Yeah.
You gotta be in that mindset of I gotta stay sharp. I gotta make sure that there's my key things I'm always keeping track of: noise, smell, can't get sloppy, right? Entering areas, glassing, like that whole like diligent. That's one thing that like when I'm in an area I think is good is just slowing down. Don't
Mhm.
just be tromping through with your boots. Make sure you're glassing an area, being diligent about, especially like what you're talking about. It's just like when they're silent and you don't have that roaring bugle coming right at you. It's like you really have to be diligent about thinking about
Every step.
Yeah. Heel toe, every step, wind constantly changing. Like, I don't know about you, but like I use like freaking 6 wind checkers.
Oh, dude, I was just gonna say I used 3 in one day.
Yeah.
And I was just like filing through those.
Yep.
Like I'm walking through, like when I found that creek on the second day, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna follow this creek. I was telling you, and like it's like every 10 steps I'm checking the wind, and I'm
Yep.
walking slow. Like I'm not going a long distance, but it's taking me a long fucking time to get there.
Yeah.
And then like I'd walk the direct, like walk along the creek, stop, and then take a hard left and like walk 300 yards. And I'm doing the same thing, checking my wind.
Yeah.
Like it's not a straight line, but I'm walking around trees. I'm making sure to be very diligent about my sound, wind, noise. Like I'm still hunting. And that's one thing, like when I was hunting those fallow deer on the island last June, man, you almost have to be crawling in the ground, being so quiet.
man.
And that's like the same approach I took. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of the times where like I'd take a step and I'd stop and I'd just listen. And then
Yeah.
I'd take 2 more steps and I'd stop and I'd listen, like a fucking snail's pace going through
Yeah.
that. But that's what you have to do, right? Because like there could have been elk laying down 50 yards in front of me. And if I'm just stomping through the bush making noise, I'm not going to know
man.
it till they get up and leave.
And it's a complete game. I gotta see them before they see me.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
don't,
exactly.
it's game over. And
Well,
then
that's
all
what we're
that
just like,
work
yeah,
gone.
like what I was saying is like, it's a one-shot deal. Unfortunately, when elk hunting is
Yeah.
that hard, it's a one-shot deal. And like, I know it's just like you said with mule deer, man. If you blow it, it's over.
It's over.
like,
Especially
fuck,
on a
man.
big buck. It's over.
Over. It's over. Good luck. Yeah. So, you got to be really diligent in what you're doing. And like, I mean, I've done it so many times in the past, like just like unintentionally walking, sloppiness, like just getting sloppy
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Like, and it doesn't take much. It's that one time you mess up or you let your guard down, and that's when it happens. And you're
Boom,
like,
there's a bull staring at you.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh man, that's I like it's so funny, like the parallels. It's so exciting though, like you say, like we like the cliche of like, oh, I'm always learning, but legitimately, like you go through
Mhm.
these rough seasons and you really have to look back at like, okay, all these past things work, it's not working. And I love it when you find a new way where you're like, I got this new thing now. When shit ain't working, I can just start
Yeah.
using these different approaches, different techniques, different ways. And then when you get that experience and it actually works, it just like boom, reinforces that. And it's like now, like when the rut is slow and nothing's working, you have this last little thing where you can, okay, I can start
Yeah.
doing
Another
this.
tool in a toolkit.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, for sure. And that's what I think, where it comes down to just experience and just like, trusting the like having trust in like the process of like handling shit year round. You know what I mean? Like, don't wait till 2 weeks before to get in shape. Cause like,
Yeah.
man, I tell you, like, I was walking pretty slow, but a lot of that stuff was like, you know, you're crouched down, you're walking crouched
Balanced.
down. Yeah, balance. And like
Yeah.
I'm crouching down, like my legs were burning, and I run a
Yep.
lot and work out a lot, and my legs were like my calves were just burning. You know what I mean? Like if you didn't train year round, there's no way. Like you couldn't sustain it. Like yeah, I wouldn't have been able to make it work. And then I feel like those are the instances where you stand up high and all of a sudden there's an elk head laying there and it
Yeah.
looks up.
Looking
Now
at
your
you.
head, yeah, now your head's over top of that bush that you were using for cover. And it's like, oh, I didn't hear you. I didn't smell you. You did everything right, but you got tired and you stood up and now
Yeah.
I'm gone. Yeah, man. But it's a funny game, but man, yeah, I wouldn't change it. But like you said, at the end of it, it's frustrating when you're going through it. I know Pete's going through it right now.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a lot of pressure. He puts a lot of pressure on himself. I shouldn't say he has a lot of pressure. He has a lot of self pressure he's putting on himself. I know this year he really wanted to make it work, but you got to you can't force it. You got to just let things happen, man.
And grind
But
it.
yeah, I mean, I
Just
know a lot of
grind it
guys just
out.
grind it out. Yeah, like go to the last, go every opportunity
Yeah.
until the last day, and you never know. I mean, shit, you've done it, I've done it. It's like last day or close to the last day.
Oh yeah. And
The stars
it
align.
feels like but when you get it, it's like that big success. It's like you found the great white buffalo. It's like this
Oh man,
unattainable thing that
yeah,
just seems so difficult, so hard. Yeah, every time, like whether I'm packing out other people's bowls or you see them, it's like there's that mutual respect of like you get it, you got her done.
yeah,
You understand how hard it is. I don't think like a lot of people, especially when it's like you and I and Pete and a lot of guys, like you're switched on to this. Like a lot of people don't understand. Like I never not think about this,
hmm,
and then you're waiting all year, the anticipation, and just like you're in it, you're living it. So like I don't know about you, like every time I walk up on a ball, it's like this is like a major thing for me. Like
hmm,
like if I don't do work, this could never happen again.
yeah. Well, it's
Like
game day. Like that's what
yeah,
it's
it's
like the
game
Super
day.
Bowl. It's
Yeah.
like it's time
Yeah.
to go. Like this is what we do year round for this one fucking moment. It's time to shine. But I don't think a lot like until you get it,
Yeah.
like until you go, you have to really put the hard work in and you have to really grind it out. And like I know everybody has dreams and people who haven't shot a bull yet, they're like, oh, I want to shoot a bull, I want to shoot a bull. Like until you get that first bull, you don't realize how much of a grind it is.
Yeah.
And then I hate to say it, the second bull is just as hard as the first
If
bull,
if not harder.
if not
It
harder.
feels like it. Because you like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. Like,
Hmm.
no, you probably don't. You still have all like we were saying, like, yeah, you might be good at that one trick,
Yes, one trick.
but this bull doesn't doesn't
It's
work
not
for 'em.
working. So now you have
Not
to do. Now you
working.
have to
I gotta
adapt,
get the
man.
next one, and the
Yeah.
next one, and the next one.
And it's
It's
always something. Every
every year.
situation is going to be a little bit different than the last, and then that's what you have to remember. But that's where it comes into just like controlling what you can control. Like I can control how much I shoot my bow. I can control how good a shape I am. I can't control everything else. And like a couple days there too, it was like shitty wind, and you have to do what you can with the wind. And like like I had a plan the night before, and I got an audible, but like you got to adapt, right? You can't just say, oh, it was shitty wind. So I went, but I went in there anyway, and it was shitty wind, and I got busted. No, well, that's not an option. You have to work around that. You have to come up with plan B. Like you have to adapt. Now you have to figure something else out, right?
Especially when you're curious about an area. That's the toughest part, where you damn well know that there's elk in there. I've had that like this year, like lots where I'm like, I know there's elk in there.
Yeah.
I want to go in there and check it out. I've hiked, 15, 20K to get to this point. Now the wind's not good and I got to hang out. Like this is soul crushing. It's like, well, I guess I'm going to go for a walk over there and just fuck around. It's so great.
Yeah. And I think that comes down to that experience though. And like knowing like, no, I'm not going to walk in there because I'm just going to fuck this up. And then I'm not going to get another opportunity because it's not,
And there is that line of being reckless and taking those risks when you need to and putting all the chips in. And it's tough to really know when to do that. Sometimes like I have a couple of my friends and stuff, they hesitated and they maybe should have risked it, like if you don't do a risk, you don't kill, right? So there's that fine line of that decision. Like, do you draw? Do you push up and draw? I'm like, well, probably, but you don't know until you're in that situation, right?
Well, and it was the same on this hunt. Like, the wind wasn't great, but I was going in there anyway. I was like, fuck it. Like, I have to go in there because if I don't do it, when's the wind going to be good?
When they're not there.
I don't have all the fucking time in the world. So, and same with that shot, 81 yards. It's like, I felt it was like, it's now or never. Like if he takes 6 steps and he's in that tree line, it's over. Right.
Yeah. That's like those little decisions, split second decisions, like with my moose, with my bow, same thing. I don't want to shoot that far, but this is the only chance I'm going to get. And that's it. That's all there is. This is going to be the only chance. Everything else is going to be harder. Everything will be harder because now you're training them. They get that sense. Maybe they feel that pressure. I think on one end, people put elk on this pedestal, like, oh, they got their senses, they got everything. You can still defeat all those things, but as soon as you start training them and putting pressure and being there, and like you said, like really good call when you're walking through there, like, okay, I know they're here. There's good sign. I'm not going to fuck it up with me walking around, checking every little spot. It's good enough. I need to back out because you're just going to foul up everything with your scent, your scent, right? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. And like every opportunity you don't take, it amplifies of how much harder it gets. So like when the next one is going to be infinitely harder than that. Well, like if you don't take an opportunity, it's going to be so much harder for you to get another opportunity like that again. Not to say it's not going to happen. It's just a lot harder to do it. And if you're in an area where you're not like, where you're struggling to even see bulls, see elk, like they're not calling, very little calling, you can't let those opportunities slip away. You have to take them. And
especially with those bigger bulls, like you especially know, like your first chance probably is your best chance.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I've learned the hard way in the past where it's like if you wait for the perfect shot, it's never going to happen. Like you have to you have to take it. You have to be confident. Yeah. You have to make shit happen. Exactly. But you have to be confident enough to make it happen. Like I was totally confident I could make that shot 81 yards on both knees, but I shoot 70 yards a lot. And you just have to be confident in your equipment. And we were talking about this in like June, where it's like, you have to be confident. You have to get to the point where that's not an issue, where you're completely confident. If there's any little inch of doubt in the back of your head, where you're like, well, I don't know if I can make this shot.
Don't take
That's
it.
not a good place to be.
Yeah, that's not gonna go good. That means,
No.
because it's so funny, like that mental checklist of floating your pin and anchoring, especially when you're putting, like, I don't know, like your shot, it was probably the same as mine. It was not the best. You're not standing proud, nice. You're compressed as small as you can. You're on uneven terrain. You're shooting off your knees. You're trying to shoot from cover, so you have to compromise your position.
Yeah.
If you don't have the mental shit nailed down, like confidence and your shot process, we talk so much about shot process, but you know, like having that open loop process, like shot IQ, if you don't have something like that rehearsed over like 2 million times,
Yeah.
you're just gonna, you might not even aim.
Yeah. Well,
Like
and that's just it.
I have relatives that they shot is 20 yards, and it's just adrenaline dump, and just it's a blur, and they draw weird, and their form isn't right, and then their pin wasn't dialed.
Yeah. So like I drew, I was sitting on my knees, like up from like almost like sitting up on my knees. I drew on the ground.
Were you behind cover?
Yeah, I was behind cover, like slightly behind cover. So I was on my knees, like straight up. So my butt, like from my knees to the rest of my body, is basically straight up and down, like I'm standing, but I'm on my knees. I had my shoulder crouched in, came to full draw, and then I just basically sat back, flopped my butt onto my heels, and then anchored and shot. And that was it. And it was 81 yards, right? And it's not, but like I had to be totally confident in my ability to do it. But like, to be honest, I never even thought 1 second about doing it. But it comes down, like you say, it's just reps, right? That's why we talk about this stuff in January and February. And like, that's why we're at the range or we're outside shooting all the time. Like, no, we don't like to fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, I know you don't like spending 2-3 hours at the range shooting at 100 yards, like all this stuff going over, like left helical, right helical with your arrows, which is the best. And, you know, it's so time consuming, and a lot of people don't want to do it, but like,
every edge matters.
If you don't, but yeah, exactly. It does. And it comes down to confidence. And it's like, if I didn't make that shot, it came down to like, if I didn't do everything to make that shot, as awkward as it was, that bull would have taken 6 steps, walked in the tree line. That would have been it, right? Like, you have to do everything in your power. Like we just were talking about, like you have to do everything you can in your power to get yourself ready for those type of shots.
Incredible.
It sucks. It sucks to do.
Yeah, it sucks, and it's think of this. How much harder would you have had to have hunted if you didn't take that shot? What do you think?
I probably wouldn't have gotten it. I'd still be out there, and I wouldn't I wouldn't have had another opportunity like that. Like we said, like, so like you're in an area where elk are walking past you, man. Like, as they start walking past you, depending on what they're doing, like if an elk would have, like, I could have gave like, in hindsight's 2020, I could have sat probably closer up, like closer to the ridge looking down. But what I didn't want to happen was, what happens if an elk comes up and decides to walk behind me? Then I'm completely fucked, right?
Yeah.
It's like worst case scenarios, I'm going to have to shoot the furthest, which I ended up shooting, which was across the gully. But like I said, you know, I'm totally confident in making those shots, like 100%. And like, you know, my bow, great speed out of my bow. Those Grim Reapers cut like a bugger. My shot was a little bit far back, still got both lungs, and that thing, like, you know, the arrow didn't come out the other side, but I mean, it
messes him up.
His lungs filled up with blood. He ran, and basically he drowned in his own blood, and that was it.
What did he do on the shot when you hit him? Did he buck it and run, take off?
He ran. And then I just curled back into the tree and didn't move, and knocked another arrow, and I just sat there and waited. And then all the elk, they ran around. They didn't know what the fuck was going on, right? I didn't want to I didn't want to
Mess
jump
with
up and yeah, I just sat. I just tucked in there and I waited, waited and waited. So, and then I went up to. They all left. I went up to where that like he must have ran and then stopped and then got a second wind and kept going, like where he coughed up all that blood. That video I showed you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, well, fuck, I'm gonna give him a little bit more time. And then I walked back, out towards the like to where I was before, where I've already like basically backtracked in my footsteps, so I wasn't getting too much smell around there. And then I just waited.
And for
And
the
then I went.
listeners, like we're talking like a bucket of blood.
Yeah, it was a lot
like
of blood.
significant blood trail. Like he's not going anywhere. That was
No, well, when I seen
freaking
that,
crazy. Like, oh yeah,
and
dead ball.
I didn't hear him crash or nothing, right? But like,
Yeah.
and you always, and it's funny, like with a shot like that, you don't have the slightest idea where that fucking arrow went. Like I had no idea. Like I had my pin, like when I went to shoot, I anchored and like had my pin on him. I was firm and I was confident in my shot, and he wasn't like, he was not moving very fast and like
Yeah.
a step, stop. You know what I mean? And like sniffing the ground and like pulling roots up with his lips, you know what I mean? Doing that kind of thing. And like no pressure, had, you know, and the shot felt really good. And yeah. And but you never know. There's always like, fine, that was a long shot. And like, it
Oh,
doesn't
I
take
know
much.
all about that. You're like, okay, I'm super confident. Oh yeah, dead ball. And it's like, until I see him, just like you.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you got hands on that ball.
Yeah.
You better not be celebrating. But
No.
that was wick. As soon as you sent that video, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Kevin's got a ball. This is
Yeah, there was a lot of
this
blood.
is a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of, like, I went there and I was like, oh, like his lungs just filled, both lungs filled right up with blood, and he puked it all out all over the ground. And I was like, okay, well, I'm still gonna go back. I'm gonna give him a little bit more because I didn't hear him crash. And then when I went back, basically I found him like 60, 70 yards from where that blood trail was, like that where he puked at the blood. So basically he probably ran, his lungs filled up with blood, and he went like puked it out and then got a little bit more steam and then died.
Yeah.
And he was just laying right there, and I was like, holy fuck. I felt pretty good. I was pretty pumped.
I'm pumped for you,
smiles. Man. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate. Fuck.
Yeah.
It was fun. Like it was fun. Learned a lot. And like it was a grind. Like we were talking like the whole time I was out there, and I was like, fuck man, like this is a fucking grind. You're like, what are you gonna do? Like you're fucking like, what's the plan? Do this. Yeah. Like, fuck. Yeah. It was fun though. But like you said though, man, like I've never been in a situation like that where it's been like that hard in an area like that, and like no calling, no nothing, like one call I heard, and then like, you know, there's elk in there, but like, yeah, you just have to adapt or die. And like, it comes down to just like trusting just trust the process. Like just be confident in like everything we talk about throughout the whole year, be confident in all that, all the work you put in, all the preparation. Like that's why we get, you know, Mark Livesey, and you know, we get guys on there and we talk about the stuff year round, and like zones of pressure and like what elk do, and like, you know, what we need to do to be ready. And because when it comes down to it, it's like fucking game day, man. It's Super Bowl. It's like, this is why we do this, is for this one opportunity. It's like, this is that was my opportunity, and I had to take it. I was like, this is what I do, train year round for, is for opportunities like this. And like, if you don't take it, when's the next one going to be? You never know.
Next year.
Yeah. Next year.
Right.
Exactly.
Or you wait till rifle, and then like I already know, like I'll have a game plan for my kid, but I didn't want to wait till rifle. I didn't want to go that long.
Fuck no.
Fuck no, you got to get her done with a bow. That was the most exhilarating. Like every ball, I swear to God, my wife and kids must be getting tired of me. So I'm like, that was the greatest ever. Every time, it's always the same shit. It's like, shut up. Like we heard, we know, you got them. It's like,
let me guess.
No.
Yes, you phone home, honey, I got a bull. Let me guess. Best bull ever.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Time,
best
every
bull
time.
Ever. Yeah.
Whether it's a big 5 or a 7x6, it doesn't matter. It's always it's in that moment of like, at the top. This is the greatest experience I've ever
Well,
had.
because like you said though, man, it's like you think you have it all figured out and you don't, and then it's like you have to learn something new. So it's like, fuck, man, like, and you work so hard, and like, man, you were fucking grinding it out. Like you're in there hard, like fucking heat. And for a long time too, man, for like a lot of days you put in, and then you're like, man, there's nothing here, right? And like I'm gonna give it 3 days, I'm gonna come back. And then what happens? You do that and you make it happen, right? And it's like, well, that's what it takes. It's like you weren't like, well, there's no elk in the area because I can't hear them, and then that's it. I gotta go to another
they're
area.
there.
Like, yeah, you're just like, no, I'm gonna fucking stick it out. I'm gonna do what I have to do. I gotta go to work. I got family, so I'm gonna go take care of that shit. Go home for a couple days, and I'm come right back out here, and I'm gonna start grinding it out again.
Yeah, with the same intensity.
Yeah, same day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, and then finally you're like, fucking bull down, boys.
Fucking bull down.
I gotta find them, but bull down.
Yeah, bull down, and like exactly like you're saying, like grinding it out mentally. It's so tough to stay in it right till last light. Like I had multiple hikes that were like hours, like staying in that zone, like putting fear aside, putting all the shit that, like, not that you're scared of the dark, but like people hunt on their way back. And it's like, man, you gotta stay in that zone. Like Mark was like, he gave people shit on our podcast we had for the elk podcast, the mini series. Like, you gotta stay out there. You have to. You gotta stay in that zone. That's where they're at. You gotta stay there as long as you can. And shit, exactly like the same stuff you were dealing with they're late to come in and or late to leave, or they're early to leave and they come out early. That same kind of thing. It's just that distances, they're in that travel, that cycle of going in and out, hitting water, hitting trails. You got to stay there till last light. And I tell you, that is when you haven't seen an elk all day and you're trying to stick to the game plan and you're just like, man, I'm not seeing anything. It's miserable. It's cold. I'm going to quit. You can't. You got to go right to the last minute. You really do. And that, like, I know for you, like when you hiked out, it's like, fuck, you had some long hikes out in the dark, and to think about, okay, like if I get a bull right now, what does that mean? Like people make all these excuses. That's really what it is. And then before you know it, you're heading back. Yeah. And it's light out and you're just like, wow, maybe they were out there. I don't know. I quit.
You never know though, but that's the thing is like you got to grind it out right till the end. And like that's the last thing I'm thinking about is like I'm gonna kill a bull and I'm gonna worry about all the other shit.
Yeah,
like I'll worry about packing it out after I kill it. I'm not gonna worry about packing it out right now because there's not.
You don't have a dead. There's no dead bull down.
Yeah, I haven't even seen a fucking bull. That's the last thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, it comes down. It comes down to, it's like I had said this to my cousin, like, you're thinking too smart. You gotta think a little dumber.
Dumb it down a bit.
You gotta dumb it down a bit to like the base things. We gotta get them down. You got friends. You can get it done. You really can. It seems like it's soul crushing. I know for me, like my first solo pack out was soul crushing to get it out. Like to pack them out just seemed like you're tired. You just killed an elk. And you broke them down, which is a task on its own. Get them hung up. You put them on your back. You're like, your body sometimes like, no. But you do it anyways. And then before you know it, you got 15 kilometers and you just left foot, right foot all the way out. And then you do it again. And then you're fine. You do it again and again. And before you know it, you're fine. You might need to recover for a week. But like we said, that's why you put the reps in. So you're like cut right, honoring your kill, right? You get it out in a timely manner, and guess what? You're fucking fine. You lived. You're going to be fine.
Yeah. You're okay. You're going to, like, every animal you kill, your elbows need a little, like, they grind a little more. Your shoulders grind your knees. Everything hurts a little more.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if
you're not
willing to do it, then don't fucking do it. Like, But you know, the funny thing is, like, I remember the very first pack out I did with an elk. It was fucking horrible.
Oh yeah.
But you take that and then you know, I was like, fuck man, I don't ever want to be like that again. So then you start training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And then a year of training leads into 2 years of training. And then it's 5 years and it's 7 years of training. And then it's like, you know what? This isn't bad at all. Like, this is fucking totally worth it. 100% worth it. Like, knee crawling and fucking, you know, and shin creeping through that stuff was a lot harder than packing that fucker out because it's already on your back. You're not trying to be quiet anymore. You know, you can move. Like, it's like, fuck, I already got an elk. I'm not worried about shooting another one.
Yeah.
So,
But it's all up here.
yeah.
All of it. It's all up here. It's all up here. You're as much as you're lifting weights to get your body ready, but it's just you're putting your mind through those constant uncomfortable situations.
100%. And it's being confident in your ability. And like we were just said, like, and shooting your bow, man. Like, if you're not shooting your bow, if you're not practicing it at 100 yards, then you're not taking 80-yard shots.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Way. Yeah, no way. No way.
No, you have to practice those and like, and I'm not talking like going out 2 weeks before the season starts. I'm talking like,
hell no.
Get a shot, get a little fucking counter, shoot 10 arrows and click that thing 10 times and do that 10 times a day all year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you'll be confident in any shot you're going to take. Like, just, you'll be confident. And trust me, if you're shooting 100 arrows a day for a full year, you're going to be confident in your ability to shoot 100%.
I even know, like, the day before I went out, I'm like, I have to shoot. I have to shoot like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100. I have to do those reps. I just get in my head. I'm like, something could have changed. It's unlikely, but it could have.
I always do that too. And like, I'm a freak. Like like when you're shooting a dial sight, like a single pin, a slider, temperature, like how much you shoot your bow, all these have an effect on your cables. And they have they have an effect on your arrow speed. All of it plays into, you know, and like a lot of the times I am such a fanatic about like my tape because like you start shooting at 70 yards and you're like, fuck, I'm grouping a little bit low. You know, I'm grouping 2 inches low at 70 yards. Right. And then you go up to 20. I'm going to check it just to make sure, because if nothing got bumped, draw a line on your target, you should be hitting that line at 20 yards, right? If everything's still good, if it didn't get bumped, if it did get bumped, then it's going to be off. But if you go up and you put that arrow right in that line, now you know, okay, now what's the poundage of my bow? I got to go check that because my arrows must have slowed down because they're dropping 2 inches at 70 yards. All that stuff.
Yeah,
like,
what's
I'm
happened to
fanatical
your
about
poundage?
Yeah, exactly. But it's like your cables, you know, you might need to twist your cables a couple twists. And I'm totally fanatical with that. And like always making sure that like my sight tape is on because it makes a big difference. Like, you know, 2 inches might not seem like a lot, but if you're not absolutely confident that thing is going to go right where you're going to put, like, it, you know, it doesn't. It's
well, is
not
it
going
2
exactly
inches
where-
though? Is it 2 inches? What's that at 80?
Yeah, exactly. That could be
Like,
3.
what's that
and
in
then
the
you
wind?
also, yeah, and that also comes down into like shooting at a target's a lot different than shooting at an animal, right? Like, it's just having that confidence. Like, I want that confidence when I shoot that thing at 70 yards, it's fucking bang on, right? I'm shooting a 2 or 3 inch group at 70 yards. Like, not two inches low, 2 inches where I want it to be, like, all the time. But yeah, it's just my process too. It's just like yours, right? And just knowing, like, being confident
and starting early. This year, I think I should have switched my string sooner, but you know how it is. Once you're there, like, you can't.
Well, you get to a certain point, you can't.
There's no going back.
No,
you have to.
You get to a certain
This is
point.
what it is, and you got to deal with it.
Yeah, you get to a certain point, and it's like, okay, well, like, I can't start doing this now because it's just like there's
your
no
tape's
point.
on. Like, I like legit what we were talking about with when I was showing you that paper I shot through with my tune. I'm like, oh my God, now I got my tune moving. And then you're having to deal with that. And I did a new arrow build and I'm retuning my bow. And then it's like, oh, and you're putting
Never
a shit ton of reps
Yeah.
in, and then now your string, you're like,
Yeah. But and again, that
moving.
takes these things get in your head too, right? And like, you know,
Yeah.
like, and then like, fuck, I'm not putting in the reps now because I'm dealing with this fucking bow. Like, fuck, like I'm dealing with this now
Yeah.
when I should have dealt with it earlier. And it's like, you know what I
Effective
mean?
practice, like at range, like as much as
Yeah.
pulling back your bow and shooting in your garage.
Yeah.
and
Muscle
stuff,
memory.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to shoot the distance because that's
have
that
to.
confidence, reinforce, and it's like
And unless you're okay with a bull walking away at a range that you're not comfortable taking a
and
shot.
I'm not.
I'm not either. I'd rather do the
Never.
work and be okay and take the shot when an opportunity comes in front of me. I'd rather do the work year round, whatever it takes. Right? If I got to sleep a little less, if I got to wake up a little early, I'll figure it out to do what I got to do to get it done.
It's funny too because when we're talking about like growth, like as a hunter and changing, like this year was the first legal bull I passed up, I think ever. Like just just like that confidence and you in that I was thinking about that. Like, yeah, that was a small bull, but I don't know, man. Was that the right
Well, that river of doubt
decision?
starts creeping in too, man.
I've seen some good balls, but it changes and like we talked about, like as the season progresses and rut changes and trying to understand that behavior and the needs of the elk. And we keep talking about this, but it's you don't know if that was the right move, and it takes a lot of effort to not shoot those smaller animals, just because if I were to shot that animal, think of it like all the things you go through learning new things. And like even like I was talking with one of my cousins, he just got into elk hunting and he didn't get a bull on his last 2 trips, but he got into a lot of elk action, and I kind of was happy for him that he didn't just shoot a ball like day 1, day 2 or some bullshit like that, because the amount of learning that he got and how fanatical he is about elk hunting now. Like he got into a big herd. He was 39, 40 yards from a big 6-point and a big herd and a lot of interaction, like 2 hours shadowing a herd, vocalization. Like that's what makes you invigorated about elk hunting. It's not like I roll up off the road and I shoot a bull. Oh, I got him. That's it. And I thought about that. I'm like, no, actually, I'm happy I didn't shoot that bull, just for the fact of like the hunt went on and I learned more things and learned more things in early season in hot weather, cold rut. When the rut's hot, it's a lot easier, but to grind it out. And it's so funny because like even like when we're texting, like the stuff you're talking about, I'm like, oh my God, I was dealing with the exact same issues. It's so funny how those elk are hundreds of miles apart and the same shit. It's all temperature, needs, the rut. It's all tied. It's all behavior. It's all the same shit.
They do the same shit, man. Yeah, I know. And it's like they react the same. I know. It's like, well, and it's funny too, because you're giving me play-by-plays, and and obviously it hasn't happened yet, right? And then the next day I fucking was laughing. I was like, fuck, it's pulled it right out of your playbook. But no, man, you gotta adapt, and like you gotta just keep positive and just keep plugging forward. And like, it's good that it happened the way it did, because like now I'm confident in years that it's gonna be slow. I'm gonna go back to doing go back to doing the same sort of thing that worked here, right? And like that might not work, and you might have to come up with something completely new, or or hey man, you might walk out there and they might be just singing like you wouldn't believe, and it might be easy. I mean, some years it's like that, right?
Yeah,
Like
sometimes
it's just not very often.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
you spend enough time out there, things are gonna happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been fun. I'm hoping for Pete. I hope he'll
get her done.
I hope he can pull it off. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just those little things like we're talking about where, the
Make
little
all the
things, and it's frustrating too when you don't know if the little things you're doing are good or bad. because you're not getting any immediate feedback off them. That's really hard when you're like, if they're not calling, right? You know what I mean? They all could be in there.
You just need to know, and
you just need to
gotta
know, and
act
like
you gotta act like they are.
yeah, and like, is it my calling that sucks? Because they're not responsive. Like, is it me? Are they getting my wind? And like all these things start creeping in your head. But I mean, you just got to spend time out there and just keep putting in, and eventually, you know, and always improve. Like, always come up with new strategies too. I think, you know what I mean. Like, if it's not working, don't keep fucking doing it. Like,
Yeah, like don't
adapt.
get stuck in a rut, and like exactly what you did. Like as soon as you're like, okay, they're not here, I'm covering ground. You have to have that plan. Like there's a lot of time goes on between going to the next area, the next day, the next this, we're hitting this next water hole. You got to keep moving. Movement is good. Like
Yeah.
keeping that in your mind, like a plan, something. You have to have confidence. You have to believe. That's the big thing, is like believing in the process and believing that what you're doing is helping. And it's like, okay, well, like if I were just like personally in my early season, if I just did a complete grinded it out for 2 weeks solid, nothing's working. I think like if I and I went to it and there's nothing working, if I just sat there and I ground it out and I got stuck in a rut and I didn't move zones and I didn't have a plan, like you could burn 2 weeks, not see an elk, not have any action, be demotivated, and then get to the point where you're so worn down, a bull walks out and you're so fatigued, you're so mentally broken down that you are incapable of acting. Like
Yeah.
I felt like that on like day 2, day 3, I pushed myself to the absolute physical limit where I'm like encroaching on 30 to 40 kilometers in a day of hard hikes. And it really was a wake up call that like the next morning, like I did not have enough to beat that bull on the top of the ridge. And that was like, fuck, I could have got it done. But just exactly like getting stuck in a rut where you have no plan. You're not changing areas. When shit isn't working, you're just going to keep doing the same insane shit. You gotta
adapt.
change. You gotta adapt.
You gotta adapt. Yeah. And like, and like, that's one of the things with Mark, and like when we get him on, and like having hunt plans, right? Like have a hunt plan, like have these strategies in line, and like adapt, right? Like if it ain't working, still you got to stick to the fundamentals though, right? Like don't get sloppy, trust everything else, like maintain course, just course correct. Just keep plugging away. It'll happen. Like just day in, day out. And like you, same with yours. Is like you fucking put in the time. It's like you didn't get sloppy though, right? You just trusted you had a hunt plan. Yeah, it changed, right? It changed as you went through the season. It was hot, it was dry, extremely hot, no calling, but you just keep grinding it out, right? Like you just keep putting the days in. And like you just stick to the things that you know will work. That will kill elk, right? Be quiet. Play the wind. Always keep the wind at your face, not your back. Like things like this, right?
Yeah.
Like just be diligent with every little thing you do. Put the time in and it'll happen. It's when you get sloppy and you just get, you make bad decisions because you're fatigued or you're mentally drained or you're just coming up with excuses. And then that's when shit goes, and that's when you blow it. And it's like, fuck. And like, I don't know, man. I've been there,
Like
I've been there, and it's like
calling in an area where you can't even shoot an elk. I've done that. Planning where I'm just like, fuck, I like, better than
you
that.
handcuff yourself and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Why did I do that? And like,
yeah.
Or like going into an area and throwing a call out and not being set up and being like, holy fuck, there's the elk right there. Like he steps out of the tree line. He's 50 yards from you, and you're standing there like you got your dick in your hand, and that's it. And you're like, well, fuck me. That was the dumbest shit I've ever done. Why didn't I get set up, put myself in a position where I had a lane to shoot, and then made a call? Why walk into an area and make a call And then when one walks out, oh,
Yeah, or they're right there. Like I've had that right off the road. I'm walking in and I didn't glass it. What the hell are you doing?
yeah.
It's
And
like
then that's the
there's a
worst.
bowl right there.
I know it. And
Like
now,
that
now
hurts
everyone's
way
looking
worse.
at you. They're all looking in your
Yeah.
direction, being like,
Yeah,
"Oh."
I remember one time like I suffered so much more than I needed to. The ball was right there on the side of the road. It's like timber road allowance shit, and I just like exactly like you're talking about, sloppy.
Yeah.
I walk right in there. There's elk right there. Ball sitting there, nice 5, looking right at me. I'm like, are you kidding me? I ended up killing that bull like a week later, but he was right near the fucking road. Like like it would have been 500 yards off the road, like instead of a kilometer, 2 kilometers. Like I could have got it done day one. Like what the
Well,
fuck
you
am I
have to go,
doing?
but you have to go through those
Yeah,
things. Like
yeah, because then
they
you just
don't,
learn.
these mistakes, they don't hold value in your, like,
Unless
you
there's
don't hold
pain.
on to them. Yeah, you don't hold on to them as well as you do unless you go through it. And I feel like
Yeah.
the mistakes you appreciate so much more than the successes. Like, you know what I mean? When shit goes right, you never really think back on like why it went right or like what it did wrong. Obviously, you're like, you kind of have some ideas like, okay, yeah, this worked last time, this worked, but like you don't analyze it as much as you do when shit goes south or you fuck it up. And it's like, well, because like, I don't know what you, but like if I mess something up, I'm at home, I dwell on it.
Obsessing.
And I'm like, what the,
Oh
why did
yeah.
I do that? Like,
Yeah,
come on, I know
obsessing.
better than that. Like, oh my God.
Especially in our position, we're doing podcasts on this. We're talking about this. We're both pretty seasoned hunters on, like, as far as elk, that's our bread and butter. That's the thing that fucking bothered me. I'm like, this is supposed to be my fucking thing. Like
This is my jam.
like this is my
Yeah.
jam. Like that's a
Like,
whole nother
this is
level of
almost like,
pressure.
this is
Yeah.
almost like my job. And like,
Yeah.
I got to get it done. Yeah. And I think maybe that's
Yeah.
why Pete's feeling it too. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because
It's
I
a
mean,
lot of pressure.
he still hasn't killed a bull, you know, and we talk about this shit. And like, he's been on the show now for over 2 years. Like, I think, yeah, over 2 years. And, you know, it's just like, I get how it starts to eat at you, right? And then
Yeah.
like, we get guests on who are very established elk hunters, right? And like,
Yeah.
we went through the whole thing, you know, we have a group text and like we talk all the time. And like, we basically are getting like a play of like your hunt and my hunt, right? And like we're going through all these things together, and it's like, and then we're like, hey Pete, how you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I get the fact that he's feeling pressure. So I mean, but like I told him when I was talking to him, like, dude, just
Do your thing.
do your thing, man. Like, don't force it. Just like let it happen, and like just trust everything that you know has worked for you to be successful with everything else when you're hunting, and like all the shit that we talk about on the show, and then it'll happen. You just got to put the time in. Eventually it's going to happen, man. Like, it's just a matter of time. It can't not happen. If you're doing everything right, it'll happen.
And you're out there? Yeah,
And
it'll
you're out
work.
there, yeah.
It'll happen.
It'll happen for sure. Just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other and just keep plugging away.
Speaking of which, are you going to go back out? What's next? Wyatt or what?
Yeah, we're going to go out, and Wyatt wants to try to get an elk now. So we're going to go out. It's Thanksgiving. We do Thanksgiving at my mom's. So we're actually leaving tomorrow. So, yeah, head back out. Fuck, man. My knees got fucking ravaged on that last trip. I went for a run. I couldn't even finish the whole run. Normal, like, I was like, oh my God. I couldn't even fit. I got like supposed to do this marathon in less than a month, and I'm laughing. I'm like, I'm going on another 5 days. I'm gone for another 5 days here. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, back Monday. It's like, I'm gonna do it still.
With
It's
another
gonna be
potential rough pack out, because it's all old dad. I know exactly what you're going to be going through. It's like they're helping, but it's old dad doing most of it.
Yeah. So, but what about you?
Probably the same thing. I got that antelope hunt here. I'm trying to lock down some permission, and then I got to start scouting up bucks. Probably at the end of this week, maybe next week. probably put in maybe 1 or 2 days trying to locate 2 or 3 good shooters. Actually, one of my friends shot a dandy, like 85 with an additional prong on the top.
Oh, really?
Real cool looking. Yeah, I'll send you a photo of him. He's really good. But the Minister draw it was a really good buck. It was 88, I think, 88 inches. Someone shot one, but I'm gonna see what's out there. Antelope, it's scouting is pretty different. It's you locate them and they don't really move too much. So you put in that work, it really pays off scouting. And it's hard to judge them. You gotta look at them quite a bit, but if you do the work scouting, you can really identify them pretty quick. Like, oh yeah, that's the tall one. That one's pretty even. That one's got oval horns or rounder horns. Okay, you can start to, who your shooters are and putting waypoints in, covering. It's tough. It's like mule deer stalking from 500 yards. I don't know if people know that, but it's intense. I from like 1,000 yards, I had a spotter, and I'm like, feel like I'm like really, really covered. I just put half the lens out. It's like looking right at me, and
I know. Yeah,
it's wild. They can see. They have 10 power. I think they have 10 power vision, and they can see the rings of Saturn on a clear night. Eh? It's crazy. Yeah.
Did you see that? I don't think we talked about that buck, that muck shot. You got a nice one. He had that draw.
Yeah.
12 years or something he was putting in to get that draw.
Freaking nuts, man. That's how it is here too. It's I think 11 to 13 years. Yeah, it's tough, but it's a fun hunt. It's different. It's less of a grind, more of just getting permission and putting that little bit of front end work. Because like I know me, like the one back here, I shot in I think under 30 minutes of season. Just because we put the work in, and you know exactly their pattern, you know where they're going.
You gotta incorporate all that into there too, and that's one thing. Like, a lot of success comes down to like all the work you put in before the season even opens.
Yeah,
and, like
especially with them, scouting is really effective. So I'll be doing that, and then taking my kid out elk hunting on an opener, and I think he'll get another bull. Yeah. He's very adamant about, I want to be 100%. I'm like, oh jeez, like you're putting a lot of shit on me right now. 100% ever. Like I've hunted twice, I've killed a bull twice. So like, my God,
that's gonna be
it's gonna be a tough one.
The longer you hunt, that number is really hard to sustain. The longer you hunt, 100%.
And I mean, like his perspective, I get why he thinks that way. Cause like I went out with him real young, shot a ball with my bow. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah. He gets used to this. I went out, shot that mule deer with him. He's like, yeah, just expect it. I'm like, oh man, he shot that big 6. And I'm like, okay. He'll probably shoot a bigger bull than me. Wow. He probably will. I'll try and make it happen. But yeah, so we're going to go out. It's going to be a good time. He's pumped, and he's like, you see it every year. You're just like, yes, you're bigger, you're stronger, you can go farther, less complaining. You're less susceptible to getting cold. It's just, I can push you a little harder, and you're still going to have fun, and you appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at with him. He's a big kid. He's strong. But it's just like he's just a little bit taller, so we're going to be able to keep up the pace. Like he was pretty pissed off at me last year, but I think this year I'm going to see a real big change in how he can handle stuff and like get on the elk. I think we'll be faster. It's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I noticed that with Wyatt this year. You're not having to turn around all the time and see how far he is behind you. You turn around and like he bumps into you. You're like, holy fuck, man! Like, yeah, it's nice. Yeah. But, hopefully this weekend we can pack some meat out together, because I already told him, like, dude, this ain't gonna be no like you're packing out as much as you can, and like you're gonna feel it next day.
Oh, it's good. It's a reality check too. Like with my kid packing out his bull, he's like, oh, so you got to be like a man, like you got to be like actually like tough. Like they're wickedly heavy. Like as soon as I pulled the hinds off, I'm like, pick up this hind. He's like, okay. Yeah. So this is like serious. Like there are consequences.
It's just like heavy.
It's like
all
heavy.
Yeah. I mean, it's just fucking heavy. Just
Yeah.
like big, heavy. Yeah.
Especially when you get a good one. It's
Yeah.
way heavier. Like his was like a big bull. Like we were talking about, like those late season imposter bulls, like the herd bulls. Like
Yeah.
they move in there after the main herd bull leaves, and some of those bulls are crankers.
Big.
They're big.
Yeah.
They're really big. And this one was like covered in mud, wallowed up.
And it's a little
hardcore.
later too, and their hides thicker.
Yeah. Neck is all banged up and thick as hell, and
They're soaking wet sometimes, and fuck. All
how much fat was on yours, on the hinds?
Not a ton. Like not a ton of fat. Not the most I've ever seen, but I didn't really pay attention, but not a lot. Yeah,
No.
wasn't too bad, but yeah. So, but no, it was fun. Fingers crossed for Pete. I'll be thinking of him.
Yeah, same.
Hopefully
He'll
gets it
get
done.
it done. He'll get it done. He just needs something to go his way. He'll get his opportunity. He will.
Yeah, and
it's just,
I think
it's
that's
gonna
it too.
happen.
Just keep doing the things like, and not just
Yeah.
him, for everybody out there who might be struggling, like just keep doing the things that you know will work. I mean, if you have any questions, reach out to Derek. He'll answer them all. No, but just don't be afraid to reach out, guys.
Yeah.
If you have any questions. I mean, even if there's stuff that Derek and I don't know, man, there's a lot of really, really skilled and really successful elk hunters that we know. And, if it's an answer that Derek and I don't have an honest answer for, then, I'm sure we can find somebody who does. But just keep plugging away and do all those little things right. And it'll all work out for sure.
Yeah, I love answering any questions, just because you learn from them too, right? Like it's so valuable just knowing that again, like we're talking about, it reinforces that it works. And especially if somehow we can help you with your first bull or a success on a bull, if you're having a tough time, like that's huge. Like man, it's invaluable. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Good luck, everybody out there listening.
Yeah, good luck out there. Plenty of
Okay,
season
man.
to get her done.
Yeah, still lots of time left. Okay, we'll talk to you later, buddy.
A life that has the stories to back it. A life to be proud of. It's a Winchester life.
Yeah, baby. 6'8" Western. Oh, mule deer, baby, right there.
Tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Waypoint TV.